Hi, this is File Management 101. So I want you to keep your files organized all the time. I'm going to look at your files and I'm going to give you a grade on your file management. And I'm going to show you a very good way to manage your files. And I'd like you to do it this way for the class. You can obviously, in your other classes or in your day-to-day life, manage your files the way that you want. But for this class, I'd like to show you the way that I want. And it's a very good way. It's worked for me for years and years. And let me just kind of show you how it works. I've already shown you in class the naming convention. So for school, this works real well. You just put your period, last name, first name, and whatever the project name is. And that's that. So the naming convention. I can give you this little file here, the naming convention file, just in case you forget. Students in the past have used this little text file and they put in their information and just leave off whatever the lesson is or the project, and they just go in here and copy this, Command C, they'll copy it, and then whenever they're trying to save a document, they'll paste it in. And I'll show you that here in a second. Also, I want to show you the folder structure. So if you're in graphic design or whatever class you're in, you want to have a folder called whatever the class is, and inside that folder, let me close this so you see what's going on. Inside this folder, I have it on column view here so you can see the directory string. So we have our folder on the desktop. Usually we'd have this on a server or some other place that's a little more secure than the desktop, but for now the desktop is fine. So you have your main folder, graphic design, and inside that folder you'd have some of your project folders, and name those whatever the project is, separate it with hyphens. Okay, so we're going to start working on typography pretty soon. We'll work on Photoshop projects, and there's no page layout projects yet. So I want you to use the naming convention on whatever files you have in here, and right now I have this file, which is no good. Nobody knows who that is, what that is. I don't know what that is. You don't know what that is. I look at this one. I don't know what that is, and you don't know what that is. So we need to make sure that these have the proper name so you know whose they are and where they belong and all that kind of stuff. So let me show you that. So make sure you have a main folder, your class folder, and you can put your files inside that class folder. Make sure you have folders inside of this folder that is the project details. Okay? So let's just say that we're working on a typography assignment here, and we're also working on a photo assignment here, and we're building a background in Adobe Illustrator, and we're going to put this background here in Photoshop when we finish that up. But we're in the middle of it, so we need to save what we're doing. So we'll take this file here in Illustrator. Let me collapse Photoshop so you can concentrate just on Illustrator. So we'll have Illustrator here. Let me dock this. It lights up blue and I can put it in the dock. So I'll take this file, I'll go to Save As, and I'm going to go to my typography folder, because that's what this is, typography, and I have this untitled file in here, so I don't like that. Now I've already copied that naming convention from that text document, and I will paste it right here. So for right now, it'll be an Adobe Illustrator file in my typography folder. I'll hit save. Now I'll go and look at my typography folder, and there it is. So with this untitled one, it's the same stuff. So I'll just take this one, right click, and just throw that one away. It's unneeded. I don't want to see untitled files in there. If they're called untitled, I'm going to mark off on your file management grade, and I'll take that grade probably once, maybe twice a 6 weeks, just depending on how often I'm looking at your files. So maintain a good folder and file structure here. And then now I'm going to go to my Photoshop file here. This my Illustrator file saved, so we can close up Illustrator, quit Illustrator, and we'll just concentrate here on Photoshop. So this one we're doing a visual metaphor, trying to give her some like elf ears or something like that. And this one's also called Untitled 2, so we don't want to use that one. We're going to name this one using the naming convention. So I'm going to do Save As, Photoshop Projects, paste the naming convention, but this one is not a typography lesson. We can just say elf ears, maybe something like that. So here's the naming convention, and kind of have the project name on there. It is a Photoshop file, which is the first on the list, and we're saving it into the Photoshop Projects folder. And I'll hit save. I'm going to quit Photoshop. And so now I'll go to the Photoshop folder, and I'll see the project with the elf ears that we're working on. And then I also see this untitled one. So we can just take that untitled one, throw it away, and now we have only things that are correctly named inside this file management folder. That's basically it. Just keep it nice and organized. Make sure you keep a good folder here. And then what you should do with this folder on a weekly, daily, monthly basis is copy it to some other place. You can copy it to your H drive. You can copy it to USB drive. You can copy it to a SD card. Just make sure you copy this every so often as a backup. And that is our lesson on file management. Thank you for watching. One more thing about file management, just make sure that you put all your projects and that you're doing in the class, if it is graphic design or digital interactive media, animation, or photography, whatever class you're in, make sure that you put everything that's involved in that class in this folder. So take your warm-up folder that you may have already established and put the warm-ups inside that folder. And that's all I'm going to tell you about on file management.